Hello, everyone. Are you all in the mood to listen to a story? I'm sure you all are. Come, let's get started. The story that you're going to listen to today is one that is written by Carolyn Sherwin Bailey, the American writer of children's literature. The story is titled The Little Round Red House. So, from the title, we understand that the story is about a certain house. Not just any house, it's a little round red house. Seems interesting, right? The main character of the story is a little boy who lived in New Jersey, which is a state in the United States of America. So one day, well, not just any day, a cold, rainy, and windy Saturday in October, this little boy got terribly bored. Well, why do you think he was so bored? Because it was a very cold and windy day. He knew that he couldn't go outside and play, and his friends also wouldn't be there to play with him. So he decided to stay inside, and so he was feeling so bored, very, very bored. He felt so bored that he decided to tell his mother of his boredom. His mother was in the kitchen, so he went down to the kitchen to find his mother reading a newspaper there. He said, "Mom, I don't know what to do. I'm bored, bored, bored." His mother raised her eyes from the paper that she was reading and smiled. She suggested, "Why don't you draw a picture with your new crayons?" What do you think of the mother's suggestion? Very nice suggestion, right? But let's see what the boy said in reply to that. "I already drew 100 pictures," he said. "I'm bored, bored, bored." "Well, why don't you read one of your new library books?" The mother came up with another wonderful suggestion. The little boy replied, "I already read all of my books 1,000 times. I'm bored, bored, bored," he said. "How about playing with your toys?" the mother said. "I already played with 1,000,000 toys. I'm bored, bored, bored." This little boy seems like a very irritating boy. Don't you think so? I think so. What would your mother have said if you had gone and complained to her in this manner? I'm sure most mothers would get angry with this sort of repeated complaining. In fact, most of the time, mothers don't like it when their children say they're bored. They would also say things like how they never got bored when they were their children's age and stuff like that. But not this little boy's mother. She had a lot of patience. She thought for some time and then said, "I remember one day when I was your age and I was bored. My mother, your grandmother, sent me out to search for the strangest little house. If you would like, I can tell you just what she told me to do." The little boy was so intrigued. He became so curious. He found it interesting to know that his mother was bored once like he was bored now. His mother said, "First, you need to put on your raincoat and your hat and your scarf and your mittens and your boots. Then you need to go outside and then you need to walk up the block and down the block and around the block to look for that little house." By the way, a block is a residential building consisting of flats. The little boy became so interested that he asked his mother, "What kind of little house?" His mother replied, "It's a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle." The little boy just didn't really understand what his mother was telling. He stared at her and told, "I never saw a house like that before. Where is it?" His mother said, "I can't tell you, but if you keep your ears open and your eyes open and you look hard, you should find it not too far from here. You won't even need to cross the street." "I'll do it," he said. See how the little boy's mood changed from boredom to interest and curiosity in just a few minutes? The little boy's mother seems like a very intelligent woman. Anyway, after having decided to go look for the kind of house described by his mother, the little boy bundled up in his raincoat and his hat, his scarf and his mittens, and his boots too, and set out. Why do you think he dressed himself up like this? Yes, because it was very cold outside. To bundle up means to dress in, or put on warm clothes. Mitten is a covering for the hand and wrist, having a separate section for the thumb. Set out is a phrasal verb which means to go out. It also means to start an activity. So, what kind of house was he going to look for? Yes, a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle. He walked down his long block all the way to the corner. He saw white houses and blue houses and yellow houses and green houses. Then he saw a red house. He was so excited and shouted, "There it is!" But, this red house was square and not round. It had a chimney like his mother had said, but it also had lots and lots of windows. Plus, it had a door. The boy did not know if there was a star because the windows had curtains on the inside. So the boy felt that this could not be the house he was looking for and continued walking, looking for the house his mother had told him about. He walked around the corner, up the long building, and to the next corner. There were yellow houses and many colored houses, but not one of them was a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle. So, as he was standing there on the sidewalk, a sidewalk means a footpath at the side of the road for the use of pedestrians or people who are walking. So, as he was standing there on the sidewalk, feeling quite puzzled and confused, the little white mail truck pulled up by his side. A mail carrier is a person employed to deliver letters. So a mail carrier put his head out of the window of the truck and said, "Little boy, are you lost? Have you lost your way?" "Oh no," the little boy replied. "I live at Ivy Rock Lane, Bridgewater, New Jersey." Do you all, like the mail carrier, think that the little boy was lost? Absolutely not, right? The little boy very well knew where he lived and where he was right then. When the little boy told the mail carrier where he lived, he said, "That's right around the corner. No, you're not lost." Around the corner is an idiom which means close, very near, etc. The little boy asked, "Do you know where everyone lives around here? I'm looking for a special house." The mail carrier said proudly, "Of course I do, little boy. That's my job. What house do you want to find?" The little boy said, "My mother sent me to find a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle." "Little boy," the mail carrier said, "I've been to every house in town, but I've never seen a house like that before. Are you sure your mother isn't pulling your leg?" To pull someone's leg is an idiom which means to fool or trick someone in a playful or harmless way. To the mail carrier's question whether his mother had fooled him, the little boy replied, "Oh no, my mother wouldn't tease me. She said she found the same house when she was just my age, so I know it's real." The mail carrier shook his head sadly and said, "Sorry, I can't help you, my friend. I've got to be getting on my way. It's time to deliver the mail." Saying this, the mail carrier waved goodbye to the boy and drove off down the roads. The little boy walked around the next corner and down the block. Every house that he saw had windows and doors. Some were red, some had chimneys, but not one of them was a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle. Come to think of it, have you ever seen that kind of a house? I haven't. What kind of a house is that, right? What kind of a strange house is a house without windows and doors and with a star in the middle? It sure sounds like a very, very strange house. Anyway, after walking for some time, the boy stopped again to think. As he stood there thinking, he saw a police car coming down the street. It pulled up alongside him and a lady police officer poked her head out of the window and asked the little boy, "Little boy, are you lost?" To pull up means to drive close towards something. Oh no, the little boy replied. I live at Ivy Rock Lane, Bridgewater, New Jersey. That's right round the corner, around the block, the police officer said. No, you're not lost. The little boy decided to ask the police officer about the house he was looking for. He asked, do you know where everyone lives around here? I'm looking for a special house. I asked the mail carrier and he didn't know where it was. The officer said, little boy, I know this neighborhood like the back of my hand. The idiom, know something like the back of your hand, means to know something very well. The police officer meant that she knew the place very well. She continued, I drive up these streets and down these streets every day, making sure things are safe around here. What house do you want to find? The police officer, just like the mail carrier, seems to be a very kind and considerate person. Both of them, when they saw the little boy alone on the road, decided to stop and inquire if the boy was lost, and they both truly wanted to help the boy. To the police officer's question about which house he wanted to find, the boy replied, my mother sent me to find a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle. Little boy, the officer said, I've been past every house in this town, but I've never seen a house like that before. Are you sure that's what your mother said? Oh yes, the little boy answered. She said she found the same house when she was just my age, so I know it's real. The little boy had such great confidence and trust in his mother that he was sure she wouldn't tell him something that wasn't true. So, was the police officer able to help the little boy? Let's see what she told him. She told him, sorry, I can't help you, buddy. I've got to be getting back to my street patrol. Oh, disappointment again for the boy. By the way, do you know the meanings of the words buddy and patrol? Buddy means friend, and patrol is a trip to keep watch over an area, especially by guards or police walking or driving at regular intervals. The little boy was slowly starting to get discouraged. His mother had told him that he wouldn't even need to cross the street. But now, no matter how long and hard he looked, he could not find the house he was looking for. There was just one more house to check, and that was Mr. Fetzer's house at the end of the block. Now, Mr. Fetzer was a farmer who had lived in the neighborhood longer than anyone. Many years ago, there were many farms in Bridgewater, but one by one, land had been sold and houses were built where there had once been Jersey tomatoes and white corn. Mr. Fetzer's farm was the last one left in the neighborhood. What did Mr. Fetzer do for a living? I told you he was a farmer, and he also ran a small farm stand and sold the fresh fruits and vegetables he grew in his gardens and orchards. To run a small farm stand here means to oversee or manage the buying and selling associated with it. An orchard is a garden or an area of land for the cultivation of fruit or nut trees. The little boy thought to himself for some time and felt that if anyone could help him find the house that he was looking for, then that would be Mr. Fetzer. So up he trudged to Mr. Fetzer's barn and peered inside. Trudged is described as a way of walking slowly and dragging one's feet. To peer is to look with difficulty or concentration at someone or something. Barn is a building often found on a farm used for storage or keeping animals such as cattle. When the little boy reached Mr. Fetzer's barn, he found the farmer packing apples into boxes. When Mr. Fetzer looked up and saw the boy, he welcomed him warmly and asked him how he could help him. He poured the little boy a cup of apple cider and gave it to him. The little boy was very thankful for the drink because he was feeling so thirsty after having walked up and down looking for that special house. The cider was sweet and tart at the same time. Apple cider is a drink made by crushing apples. Tart means sour or sharp to the taste. The little boy thanked Mr. Fetzer for the apple cider and asked him if he could help him find a little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top, and a star in the middle. He told Mr. Fetzer, "My mother says you've lived here longer than anybody, and she found the house when she was my age, so I thought you might know where it is." Mr. Fetzer smiled and told the little boy, "Seems to me I remember your mother when she was just a little girl. Seems to me she came to find me on a day just like today. Seems to me that she was looking for a house too, just like the one you've described, and seems to me I knew just where to send her." The farmer walked outside and pointed to his orchards up on a little hill, and he told the little boy, "See those trees? Run up there and take a look around, and I think you'll find what you're looking for." The little boy got so excited and ran across the field and up the hill. He stood under one of the apple trees and looked all around. As the boy stood there, the wind blew, and a red apple fell from off the tree and landed at the boy's feet. Picking up that apple, the little boy looked at it closely. A little round red house with no windows and no doors, he said, turning it and looking at its shiny round red surface. A chimney on top, he said, touching the stem. A star in the middle? He put the apple in his raincoat pocket and ran all the way home. "Mom! Mom!" he called out loud. "I think I found it." His mother smiled when he took the apple out of his pocket and gave it to her. "I think you found it too," she said. "A little round red house with no windows and no doors and a chimney on top." But the boy was still doubtful. He asked his mother, "But where is the star?" She picked up a sharp knife from the table. Placing the apple on its side on a plate, she cut it in half right through its middle, and there, in the center, was a star. Oh, how wonderful! There inside the apple was a star holding 5 brown seeds. "It is too wonderful to eat without looking at the star, isn't it?" the little boy said to his mother. "Yes, indeed," answered his mother. Wow, what a story, right? Have you ever looked at an apple that way? A little round red house with no windows and no doors, a chimney on top and a star in the middle? What a unique and beautiful way of looking at things. Most of us explore the world for experience and knowledge, or at least we wish to. But sometimes, or most of the time, the best experiences are right under our noses, and we are so not aware of it. There is extraordinariness in every ordinary thing. The simple things hold the most profound truths. Look all around you. What do you see? Just very ordinary and commonplace things, right? Things we don't care about because we see them every day. But if only we showed the patience to open our eyes to the beauty around us, how wonderful and beautiful the world will turn out to be wherever we are. Hope the story of the little round red house makes you look at ordinary things from a new perspective. Thank you.